Hello and welcome to yet another series of the Art and Culture PT episode 2. So this particular episode will deal with the next set of topics that are important from the perspective of prelims. The first one being Karbi-Anglong Agreement. Now this agreement is with respect to internal security situation in the region of Assam, that is Karbi-Anglong. Whatever from the perspective of polity is there, that will be dealt with polity, and whatever perspective of art and culture there is, it will be dealt here. So a tripartite agreement, that means an agreement between three parties, was signed by the central government, and this agreement is among the 5 insurgent groups of the Assam, the center and the state government. Okay, representatives of different insurgent groups that have been operating through violent means in Assam being the Karbi Longri North Kashar Hills Liberation Front, People's Democratic Council of Karbi Longri, and they all participated. Also, if we talk about the agreement more, it aims to end years of violence in the Karbi-Anglong region and ensure peace and prosperity in Assam, and the agreement, it provides for the rehabilitation of armed cadres that have abjured violence and joined the mainstream. That means whoever, the people who were engaged in violent activities through these liberation fronts, through the insurgent groups, they will also be having a rehabilitation program because they have given up violence and joining the mainstream resolution. Okay, and the highlights are there that transfer as much as autonomy as possible in exercising the rights of the Karbi-Anglong Autonomous Council. That means insurgent groups are basically fighting for their own culture and identity. So they need as much autonomy as possible so that their culture, identity, customs, these all can be preserved. And special development package will also be allocated to take up special projects for the development of Karbi-Anglong, ensure the protection of culture, identity, language of the people of Karbi, and all-round development of the region. So here we have to be concerned about very important cultural facets of the Karbi and the sub-tribal groups of the region. It will give more legislative, executive, administrative and financial powers of the KAAC, Karbi Welfare Counseling, to focus on development of the Karbi-Anglong people who are living outside the KAAC area. So this is pretty comprehensive. Also, the Consolidated Fund of the State. The Consolidated Fund of the State will be amended. Why? To meet the resources of the KAAC. So, for example, if it is asked in your prelims examination, what about the amendment? Why is it made? Or if it is said like the Consolidated Fund of India will be amended to make funds available for the KAAC. No, it's of the state. Okay. Moving on, if we talk about the crises, a major ethnic group of Assam, it's dotted by various factions and splinters. And history of the Karbi-Anglong group is marked by killings, ethnic violence, abductions and taxation since the last 1980s, because the reshufflement of Assam took place, and because of that many ethnic groups, they were feeling like their identity was in danger. So because of that, ethnic violence rose. And insurgent groups of Karbi-Anglong district, okay, they originated from the core demand of forming a separate state. Whenever there is such instances of a group of people entering into violence, it's much more to do with their own identity because their identity is threatened according to them. So recently the Lok Sabha passed the Constitution Orders Bill of 2022. Okay, before we talk about that, let me just tell you about the Karbi people. So Karbis are basically the group, the tribal group of Assam, and they generally tend to live in Karbi-Anglong area. They are also known as Mikirs. Okay, Mikirs. However, they never call themselves Mikirs. They call themselves sometimes Arlings. Arlings mean Arling. It means the man. Okay, or a man basically. Okay, so this is a bit of information about the Karbis. If we talk about the Darlong community, recently the Lok Sabha passed the Constitution Scheduled Tribes Order Amendment Bill of 2022, and it sought to include the Darlong as a sub-tribe of the Kuki tribal community in the list of scheduled tribes. So remember that. Darlong are a part of Kuki tribe. There are sub-type of Kuki tribe. Bill amends the Constitution Order of 1950, and these people belong to the Darlong community. So Darlong is a tribal community of which state? Importantly, Tripura. It has a population of about 11,000 only, and the community has a high prevalence of education as well as cultural activities. So Tripura has a number of tribal communities, people of which live in the Tripura Tribal Area Autonomous District Council, which was formed on 18th January 1982. And the tribal council covers nearly 70% of the total area of Tripura and houses roughly 30% of the state's population. Remember this as well. Okay. And a tribal musicologist and Rosim, that is a tribal instrument, maestro Thanga Darlong, was awarded prestigious Padma Shri for contributions to culture. So remember what is Rosim, and remember the musicologists belong to which community. Okay, over here. Members of the community serve in senior position of the local administration as well. Now let's talk about the Kuki community. Kukis are known by different names such as Lushai. Okay, they are also known as Kuki, and their subtype is Darlong as well. They are preferred to be called Hare Ems. Okay, so who are Hare Ems? They are Kukis who reside in Tripura. Okay, and they are preferring to themselves to be called as Hare Ems, though they were considered a generic tribe under the Kuki communities. Okay, so Tripura has a number of tribal communities, many number of tribal communities. Darlong is a large majority of them. They are still dependent on slash and burn cultivation and traditional livelihoods for sustenance. That means slash and burn is basically raising a crop in a field, burning it down, moving on to some other field. For that time, the field will be left fallow to recover its own soil. It creates a lot of problem for the environment. So that's one thing. The language belongs to Kuki-Chin linguistic family. Remember, it could be asked in prelims, Indo-Mongoloid, but it's Kuki-Chin. The Constitution of India, Article 366, 25, subclause 25, and Article 342, clause 1 deals with them. 5th schedule and 6th schedule talks about the administration of scheduled tribes. Now, 5th schedule is dealing with approximately, not approximately, but 10 states. Okay, the 10 states of in which various tribes are located, these are dealt with by Schedule 5. And Schedule 6 talks about the tribal group of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Okay, remember that, 6th schedule. Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Okay, remember that. So apart, if we talk about 5th schedule, it deals with 10 states tribal communities except Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura, Mizoram, which is dealt with by the 6th schedule. So let's see a previous year question. The provisions in the 5th schedule and 6th schedule in the Constitution of India are made in order to, the answer from amongst these are, of course, protect the interest of scheduled tribes. We just discussed about it. Okay, now let's talk about Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. Janjatiya Gaurav Divas has been marked, and this has been approved by the Union Cabinet to mark 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. Okay, so this is one thing to be remembered, 15th November as Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, and it is to commemorate the brave tribal freedom fighters who are generally the unsung heroes of our independence, and it is a part of the year-long celebration of the 75 years of India's independence, that is Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. So Janjatiya Gaurav Divas, it recognizes the efforts of tribes in preservation of what? Cultural heritage first. First is cultural heritage, then promotion of Indian values of national pride, valor and hospitality as well. So not only preservation of culture, but these many dimensions as well. And they held several tribal movements across different regions of India against the British colonial rule, and the important ones being of course Santals, which was led by Siddho and Kanho. Okay, and it was done in the year 1855, 1856. So they were against the money lenders, they were against the symbols of British East India Company, whom they said or whom they called as Dikus. Dikus are outsiders, because their agrarian and community structure was getting threatened by the presence of Dikus. They said that we want independence from the British East India Company. And also 30th June is celebrated as Hool Divas. Remember that, Hool Divas. Okay, because 30th June 1955 was the day when Sidhu and Kanhu led the Santhal rebellion against the British East India Company. Then we have Khasis as well. Khasi under whom? Tirath Singh. Okay. Tirath Singh against the British. And this was in 1829 to 1833. This long it went. Then Bhils, the word Bhil comes from Belos. Belos means a bow. Okay, a bow. Bow and arrow, one bow. And it was led in the year 1913. Before that also it was led in the year 1930 by, of course, Gobind Guru, not Guru Gobind. Gobind Guru. Okay. So remember all these important leaders. And then we have the Mizos and Coles. Coles rebellion was led in the year approximately 1831. Okay. So these were the important rebellions. Okay. So a tribal freedom fighter museum at Ranchi was also inaugurated by the Prime Minister. 15 November also marks the birth anniversary of Birsa Munda. Okay, remember that. That is why it is Janjatiya Gaurav Divas. Munda rebellion is so famous, right? And he is revered as God by tribal communities across India, also known as Dharti Abba as well. Okay, who is known as Dharti Abba? Birsa Munda. Now, let's talk about Ganga Utsav 2021, the river festival, one of the most revered rivers of India. It has a catchment area in 4 countries, namely India, China, Bangladesh and Nepal. So, when the glacier of Gomukh, it originates from Gomukh, when glaciers of Gomukh, they melt, they are known as Bhagirathi. After Bhagirathi joins Alaknanda, it is known as the Ganga river. And it has a catchment area in many states of India, ranging from Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Haryana, Delhi. Then we have Uttar Pradesh, we have Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Bihar. So many states, even Rajasthan is covered by the Ganga. So let's see. Ganga Utsav was celebrated from 1st to 3rd November 2021. And it was declared as a national river of India only in the year 2008 on 4th November. The National Mission for Clean Ganga, it is under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Remember this very well. And it is celebrated by this particular festival is celebrated by the Ministry of Jal Shakti only. It is celebrated every year to strengthen the public river connection, the interaction. Okay. Also, continuous learning and activity portal was launched during the program of 2021. And it is also known as CLAP. It is a learning portal which has lots of quizzes and activities, crossword discussion, in order to keep children engaged throughout the year, because they have to know about the importance of river Ganga, then only they will be able to conserve it. CLAP is an initiative by Namami Gange. Remember this point very well. Okay. Also, CLAP is created and executed by Tree Grace Foundation. It is funded by World Bank. So important. Then this is an interactive portal. What kind of portal it is? Interactive portal means you can engage and not just read along. Okay, working towards initiating conversations and actions around the rivers in India. The portal also facilitates debates and discussions in order to express various ideas, so that we can have a huge role of democracy in conserving the river. Okay, moving on to the next topic, that is of course river Ganga, the subtopic. The basin is one of the most fertile and densely populated. It supports billions of people. Longest river of India, revered by Hindus, and the most sacred river on the earth. As the most sacred river on the earth, it originates in the snowfields of Gangotri Glacier in the Himalaya, in the Gomukh, which is also known as Gomukh, and joined by other rivers such as Alaknanda, Yamuna, Son, Gomti, Kosi and Ghagra. Okay, then now we have Namda craft of Kashmir. Namda craft, very important craft of Kashmir, and the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, it has launched 2 projects. First is the revival of Namda craft of Kashmir as special pilot project under the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. Remember this very well. Under which scheme it has been launched? Under Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, because it's related to skill. And second is the upskilling of artisans and weavers of Kashmir under the recognition of prior learning, a component of the same. So, recognition of prior learning means whatever they have learned in the past, whatever learning has been done with respect to skill in Namda craft. Okay, so the Namda project will benefit approximately 2,500 people who are dependent on it, and that will be in 6 districts of Kashmir. 6 districts of not Jammu but Kashmir. Okay, Namda craft is a rug. What is it? A rug. Okay, it is made of sheep wool. It's made of sheep wool. First thing, it is a rug. Second, it is made of sheep wool through felting technique, which is a process of turning the protein fiber, that is the meaning of protein fiber here means the animal fiber, into a piece of fabric. Okay, we use protein fiber by animal fiber, we turn it into fabric by connecting individual fibers, then it becomes a rug and it is made of sheep wool. Remember that. Okay, sheep wool. All right, and Namda craft is extensively used in Kashmir households, not only for the mattressing but also for covering the walls as well, because it is so beautiful. The export of Namda craft, it declined almost 100% between 1998 and 2008, and just in 10 years it was like 100% down, which is not a very good news for the people of Kashmir with respect to this craft. So these special projects are under Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, designed a short-term training curriculum to preserve this endangered craft. So this is having a particular curriculum, and the projects will contribute towards preserving as well as reviving the rich heritage which is associated with Namda craft in Kashmir, and also improving the access to this particular program to the persons who are already from families and generations in this particular craft. And of course, it will improve employability and also hence reduce in up to some extent the radicalism. Moving on, let's talk about the CharDham project. The CharDham project is basically a highway project, national highway project connecting Yamunotri, Gangotri, Kedarnath and Badrinath. Okay, and this is a not very healthy project from the perspective of environmental activists. That is why it was so much in debate. So recently the Supreme Court allowed carriageways of 3 highways to be widened as a part of CharDham road project. And the 3 national highways of this project are Rishikesh to Mana. Okay, first that Rishikesh to Mana, then we have Rishikesh to Gangotri, and lastly we have Tanakpur to Pithoragarh. So these are places which are highly susceptible to landslides. And the Supreme Court decreed following a review sought by Ministry of Defence. The Supreme Court has spoken of the need to balance national security concerns with environmental issues. The highways will now be developed in accordance with the double lane with paved shoulder system. Okay, double lane, and it will have like this double lane. Okay, this is double lane and it has paved rows. Okay, paved rows, paved shoulders. The carriageway width should be 7 meter with 1.5 paved shoulder on either side and paved shoulders on the edge of road enhancement to serve as the functional space for bicyclists and pedestrians, of course, like we all have in the big cities. And the CharDham project aims to improve the connectivity of CharDham pilgrimage site, first for the pilgrims, second for defense purposes as well, in order to make sure that the transport of army and other important weaponry is much more faster, because we are not very in well terms with China. Okay, the pilgrimage centers include Badrinath, Kedarnath, Gangotri and Yamunotri. And Yamunotri is the source of Yamuna river at the head of goddess and the head of the goddess Yamuna. Gangotri is the source of river Ganga and the head of goddess Ganga. Kedarnath, where a form of Hindu god Shiva is venerated, is as the 12 Jyotirlings. This is also the foremost of the Panch Kedars temples in Uttarakhand. Badrinath, which is the seat of Hindu god Vishnu in his aspect of Badri Narayan. It is one of the 108 Divya Desams. Okay, remember that. Also, Badrinath is located at an elevation of 3100 meters. It is located in Garhwal Himalayas. On which bank? This can be asked in your prelims. Which river's bank? Alaknanda River. Okay, and this sacred town is actually based between the 2 important mountain ranges, Nar and Narayan. And the temple is believed to have been established by sage Adi Shankaracharya in the 8th century. Remember that, sage Adi Shankaracharya. So environmentalists argued that broadening the highway using the DLPS would prove fatal to the already fragile Himalayan ranges, and also if we tend to dump the waste, it will create more landslides and flash floods will create more floods. Okay, and Himalayas are the best defense of our country, that we cannot compromise with hill cutting was rampant, with mountain ecosystem being irreversibly harmed in the process. Okay. Also, Prime Minister, let's talk about Kashi Vishwanath temple corridor now. So, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji visited Varanasi on 13th to 14th December 2021 to inaugurate the phase 1 of the Kashi Vishwanath temple corridor project in order to make the temple more accessible, more easily and smoothly accessible to the pilgrims. And project constructed was at a cost of rupees 339 crores. Kashi Vishwanath temple is one of the most famous Hindu temples dedicated to Lord Shiva, and the temple is one of the 12 Jyotirlings of the Shiva temples, the Lord of the universe, Vishwanath. Okay. So, this temple was built by the Maratha monarch Ahilyabai Holkar in the year 1780. So, it has a lot of history. Let's talk about the project. Foundation stone of the project was laid by the Prime Minister only in the year 2019, and this project is now spread over a massive area of 5 lakh square feet. Earlier premises were limited just around to 3000 square feet, but it was increased, and it will connect the iconic Kashi Vishwanath temple and also the ghats, so that it can help the pilgrims to walk through there smoothly. Okay, let's move on and talk about the corridor, temple corridor. It will boost tourism. This is one of the main advantage. It will provide the pilgrims amenities, then only we will go there. And wider and clearer roads and lanes will provide the shops more chance to have their commodities sold. Also, better lighting with bright street lights and clean drinking water. So, everything has been kept in mind. Moving on, if we talk about Karuppur Kalamkari paintings, this is also one of the most important things to talk about here. In Tamil Nadu, Karuppur Kalamkari paintings and Kalamkari wood carvings, remember, belongs to Tamil Nadu. They receive geographical indication tag. What is geographical indication tag? It is a tag that is given to a specific commodity which is of unique value. The reason of that unique value is geographically indicated that this product has a unique value because it originates in a product in a specific area. So, besides that area, those products cannot be found anywhere, or even if they are found, they might have been transferred. But because a project has originated in a specific area, that is why it has the specific uniqueness, then we can give the GI tag, so that businessmen, if they are in this particular business since a long period of time, they can have better growth opportunities. Okay. So, these art forms are traditional in nature. Okay. GI tags can be given to either natural or artificial products as well. Okay. Paintings intricately made on cotton cloth using brushes which are made of bamboo and coconut tree stems. Remember that, not only bamboo but coconut tree stems. In wood carving, craftsmen are specialized in carving temple related items and also furniture using designs which are traditional in nature. Also, Kalamkari means creating something with a kalam, like a kalam, we call pen as kalam, okay, in Hindi as well. So, it can be done either a kalam or a brush, and traditionally only 3 colors have been used. Remember the color names: black, red and yellow. But recently we see that pale blue is also getting popular in this particular painting. Okay. Other innovations and traditions from the state also have received the coveted GI tags like Kanyakumari cloves, Dindigul logs, Mahapalipuram stone sculpture, Nilgiri tea, Virupakshi hill banana, Thanjavur dolls, Thanjavur paintings, Coimbatore wet grinder, Kanchipuram silk and sari, to name a few. So, you can have a list of GI tags. You can read it from the official website. Don't go somewhere else, just the official website of Ministry of Culture, and you can access this. Okay. Let's move on and talk about it more. Andhra Pradesh is famous for this form of art, Kalamkari, and major forms are Shri Kalahasti from Chittoor district and Machilipattam Kalamkari of Krishna district as well. Shri Kalahasti Kalamkari involves block making followed by cloth treating, printing and washing. And Shri Kalahasti style of Kalamkari is used mostly for narrating religious myths, okay, religious stories, also epics on fabric. So, if it is asked, you know what is depicted on fabric. Kalamkari colors are made mostly from vegetable dyes, okay, remember that as well. They are made from vegetable dyes. And the popularity of this exquisite form of painting has earned international repute for the state of Andhra Pradesh. Which painting? Kalamkari painting. Okay, and let's look at the previous year question here. Kalamkari painting refers to a hand-painted cotton textile in South India. A handmade drawing on bamboo handicrafts in Northeast India, that is wrong. C is also wrong and D is also wrong. So the correct answer will be A. So we shall come again in our next episode with much more information with respect to current affairs of art and culture. Thank you so much for watching.